I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius.
Oh, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
Testing. Testing. Hello? Hello? Testing. Hello? Hello? Testing. Hello? Is it on? Hello? Testing. It's cathode ray tube day. Oh shit. Testing. Hello? Is this thing on? Testing. Hello? Hello? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Above It All program, 1755 programs. And today is that one. Once again, tomorrow I will be taking the day off. I may also not be here on Thursday. I'm not sure. Today, I started the show a little late, 10:30. You know, it's a social experiment. I'm experimenting on the users, you know. Imagine you're in like the fucking, you know, you're in like the glass cage and I'm just like coming down there. I'm poking at you, you know. 10:30 today. I'm just testing you out. You know, a little social experiment. We'll see how it goes. Today I'm doing a program that I like to call Oops All Movies. I've been watching a lot of films recently. In no particular order or consistency. And today I'm going to take it easy and I'm going to talk about a bunch of movies I watched recently. So that's pretty much it. Oh, my back. Oh. God damn it. All right. I'm still sipping my coffee, so bear with me, y'all. Where have I been? Oh, you know, working on some personal things like A, oversharing. B, the desire impulse to discipline. Bullies with zero mercy. I'm working on it? Holy shit. I hate bullies. Those are the worst. All right, y'all. Oops, all movies. We're jumping in. Been watching a lot of movies recently. You know, one thing I've been doing is I have one streaming service that I'd like to rotate through. I used to have like a bunch of them. HBO Max has been like kind of you know, it's a disaster, let's be honest. So I canceled that out of principle. But I've been stuck on Netflix recently. Some Netflix stuff, you know, not everything here is stuff I watched on Netflix, but you know, that's the current streaming service that I'm purchasing. So I was browsing through Netflix and I found some films. I found a film called Bullet Train. It's a film. Apparently it came out this year, I believe. I don't know, I think it's new. It might be new. And I gotta say, I liked it. I thought it was very fun. This is one of those movies that's like, you know, I would describe it as a live action anime. You know, it's a bunch of like assassins and they're like punching each other, they're beating each other up, and they're like blowing shit up, and there's lots of deception, there's guns, and you know, the thing I like about this movie is it's got fun dialogue. I think the dialogue is pretty fun. I also enjoy the way that they introduce the characters, because pretty much everyone dies in this movie. And so, like, for example, one of the guys, I think the Wolf is their name, they get this really long, like, epic intro sequence, and then they pretty much just die instantly. I mean, I think it's pretty good. You know, the movie is funny. It's a funny movie. It's the action choreography is good. The story is like some, you know, gang boss is trying to like kill all these guys, so they like, you know, they hire them with individual contracts so that they all meet up in the same area and fight over the same thing, and it kind of works. But then they figure out that it was a setup, but no one listens anyway, so they're all dead now. But it's a fun movie. I believe the only person that survived is Brad Pitt's character. I think he's the protagonist, but it's kind of hard to tell the way that they shift the perspective all the time. There's also a snake on the train, so that's added tension pretty good. Anyway, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun. It's you can't really spoil the movie. I mean, you can, but you can't. Like, it's one of those movies that's kind of a visual experience. You just watch it. You just watch the train blow up. You just watch the guns. I like the characters. I like the Thomas the Tank Engine, bit going on there. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's a good movie. I enjoyed it. It's silly, and it's worth checking out. So I watched that on Netflix. Been watching a lot of movies lately. I've been trying to expand my knowledge base in the world of film. So, there you go. But I got more coming up here. Thank you for the, thank you for the appreciation of my clothing. I appreciate your appreciation of my clothing. So, thank you for that. I'm a little high. I got pretty fucked up on drugs yesterday, so just, still coming down from that. So bear with me here. Thomas the Tank Engine, narrated by George Carlin. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? There's no way that's a thing, right? Anyway, I've got myself some seltzer. Oh, got some seltzer here I'm sipping on. So, sipping on seltzer. Sipping on seltzer. Got myself a one of these little coffee cup. Got some coffee in there. Little coffee cup going on. Some action. Little coffee cup action, So let's talk about films. I've been watching a lot of films recently. I consider myself a movie fan. I like movies. A lot of people, they have like these really weird kind of like, oh, I only like good movies. I mean, you like good movies? Really? You like good movies? Well, I got a movie for you, and it does not qualify as a good movie, but I enjoyed it. It's called Countdown. I believe I also watched this on Netflix as well. But it's called Countdown. Death? ? There's an app for that. So that's the tagline on there. Essentially, it's a really cheesy, and I hesitate to use the term cheesy because cheesy, this is one of those B movies, but they knew going into it that it's a B movie. And so in a way they kind of like made it a C movie, like it's really cheesy, but like you can tell that it's written like that on purpose. And like the casting with some of the characters, my favorite character in this film is the Exorcist. The Exorcist is basically just like a fucking giant nerd who doesn't know anything about anything, but like likes the Bible because it's a cool story, right? So he's not really that religious per se. I think he is religious, but he likes the Bible just because it looks cool and the drawings are fun and all that. So anyway, that's the Exorcist. Super goofy ass character. This movie, again, it's like they know it's cheesy. They go in on that. They understand that this is a bad movie. Like the whole time, everyone involved with creating this movie understands it's a bad movie. And as a result, it works. Like the scary parts, my opinion, there's one of the characters who's a rapist. And that's the scariest part of the movie is the fight with the rapist, more than the supernatural component. So basically, there's an app on the App Store, and everyone downloads it. It tells you when you're gonna die, and then the main characters are like, oh shit, I'm gonna die in 3 days. What the fuck? But they don't actually believe it until someone else dies. They have like a shorter clock. Anyway, it's a super cheesy horror movie. It's only like it's like less than 90 minutes when you account for credits and stuff like that. So really, this is a super short movie. If you want like one of those goofball horror movies, it's super it's super short, super cheesy. The scares are, the villain, the horror component, it's good. It's not, this isn't a good horror movie. This isn't like, oh shit, I'm gonna have nightmares for days. To be honest with you, if I didn't write this movie down, I would have already forgotten about it. But I will say, this fits a niche. The niche is cheesy, goofy horror movies. It fits that. if that's something you're interested in, if there's ever a moment where you're like, oh, I want to watch like just a short goofball dumb fuck movie I don't need to think about, and you would watch Countdown. Again, The Exorcist is a good character who is just surrounded himself with the Bible lore. You got like, you know, the tech guy who just like works at a fucking store or whatever, and his character is that he's just a loser. I mean, all the characters pretty much their entire personality is that they're a loser. But anyway, I thought this movie was fun. I enjoyed it. There's a lot of laugh out loud moments in it. And it's just a fun thing to watch. So check it out if that sounds at all interesting to you. If not, then it's not my problem. It's not my problem. So, not my problem. I don't know what to tell you. But there was that's Countdown. You thought Countdown was scary, Environmental Coffee House? Well, that's good to know. The Bible has drawings. Well, you know how they have like those fucking, you know, I guess it's not in the Bible, but you know those religious people, they got like the books of devils and shit, you know, and it's got like those fucking weird like autopsy looking photos with their arms like this, you know, like, and with the fucking stars and the fucking circles around them. You know what I'm talking about, man, with the goat heads. You know what I'm saying. Letter hack. I'm adapting a movie to comic about shrooms. Tell me more. Give me more information. That is not enough information. I need more. Max the dog's take on this movie. Maxie, where are you? Are you sleeping? Max, why are you sleeping on the job? You're sleeping on the job, Max. They want to see you. Yep, he's sleeping on the job. He's not getting out of bed. Max the dog is in bed. He is staying there. Wait. Nope, yeah, he's staying there. He is not going to move. So, reminder, everybody, I have released a Doom WOD recently. It's called A War on Christmas. I recommend checking it out. Fun fact, it's got Max the dog in it. Max the dog is in my Doom WOD. So, if you want to see some exclusive photos of Max the dog, extremely rare photos of Max the dog, you're gonna have to play my Doom WOD. So, or you can live your life without having seen the extremely rare photos of Max the dog. Mondo, Hollywoodland, a shroom dealer and his friends filmed with an iPhone, new gig. All right, I'll look into that. Send me a message about it so I can remember. I don't know. I've been really bad with my messages recently, but send me a message and I'll look into that. Sounds good. Goddamn Max the dog, though. You don't know how to play it? That's fine. You don't need to know anything. God damn, Max the dog. I mean, I'm looking at him right now. You're a puppy. Yeah. There you go. All right, y'all. We're jumping in. Watching movie films. I watched this movie on Amazon Prime. And it's free on Amazon Prime. You have to pay for Amazon Prime, right? I don't, but you know, some people would pay for it that aren't me, but I get the benefit from an Amazon Prime account. And on Amazon Prime, I watched a film. It's called, you may have heard of it. It's called 1984. I've never seen it before. It's an adaptation of the novel, the book. Is it a novel or a book? You know, what's the difference? A novel is a story, right? Anyway, never read the book. But I gotta say, I watched this movie in 2 parts. I will say I flew too close to the sun when I tried watching this movie for the first time. Ended up falling asleep. I don't like watching movies in 2 parts. I really don't. I would rather suffer through like the last half of a movie than pause it and watch it again later. I just like the single viewing experience. That said, I watched this movie the other night. I failed and I fell asleep. So, but anyway, I did watch, of course, the whole movie. The movie's really good. So the movie is like a super, like, you know, if you know anything about the story, a lot of people love to reference this film in like a political way. And having watched the movie, like, I know some trivia. I know the book is way more overtly socialistic, but the movie, I can understand how someone could watch this movie and think that, like, you know, and be a conservative that thinks that this is socialism or something. I can understand that. Why the movie kind of mutes politics a little bit, in like overt ways, right? It just kind of like there's like a vague authoritarian government that is basically controls everything. Like the main character is like a guy that censors speech. One of the plot points of this film is that they're trying to reduce the vocabulary of the English language. So over time, they're removing words from the dictionary, and because, you know, they don't want people to think about things. But the main character eventually, you know, he goes woke, and as we know, when you go woke, you go broke. Eventually, he gets fucked up, so he does go broke at the end. But he goes woke, and he finds himself meeting some terrorist or something like that, so-called terrorist, you know, resistance fighter, and they develop a relationship. But it's like, it's kind of like a, you know, it's a weird relationship, you know, but it, like, the way, because like the way that they show it, like, I don't know, like they have like, there's like a guy in a store, right, that sells like old artifacts that are illegal, right, and he's got like a secret room or whatever that you can like rent. And so, like, eventually, you know, they rent this secret room. They've got some escapades, you know, there's some stuff that happens. They read books and all that. And then they get fucking sold out by the goddamn government. Yeah, my favorite part of this movie is the torture scenes. The torture scenes, like, I'm not going to lie, I watched this movie, both parts. You know, I watched the torture scenes the next day when I woke up. And god damn it, the torture scenes were like they're stretching his body and shit. Oh god, it's gross. God damn, it's nasty shit. It hurt me to watch this movie. And like, you know, the way that they torture him, the way that they show the torturing is very good, because they like continue asking him questions that are like, they're like riddles, right? And you have to answer it the right way. But you can't just like answer it in a way that's obviously a lie. Like, you know you're lying and they know you're lying. So you have to like develop like a way. It's like a, you know, it's a puzzle essentially. They just break it down. But goddamn, the torture scenes, hard to watch. The ending of this movie is sad too, right? Because what they do is they torture the motherfuckers, both of them, and the rat in the cage, Jesus Christ, right? So they torture the motherfuckers, but then they let them back out. They don't kill them because, you know, it's better to like kill the hope in their head than to kill the body, because you can still use them for slave labor. This movie it's fucked up. I mean, obviously it's pretty fucked up. I feel like the movie leaves out a lot of information, especially about the world, the universe. There's like a war going on, but it's very like nondescript, and there's very little details on it. There's very little details on the government itself. Maybe I'll read the book. A lot of people have recommended the book to me. But yeah, like the cinematography of this film, really good. Like the way that the camera's panning, like the kind of fucked up atmosphere, like especially when they're in like the office rooms. You know, again, there's a lot of really good cinematography when they're in the hotel room kind of thing, and like, you know, they're looking out the window. That's a good one. But this is a good movie to watch. It's sad. It's scary. The torture scenes are pretty fucking scary to watch. I mean, I felt the pain on that one. Like, ooh, just don't even make me say that again. But 1984, good film. I recommend checking it out. And there you go. This film has, or at least the book, the source material, has been referenced a lot. So you can see a little bit of where those references come from. So I got to check out the book at some point. Yeah. So it's 1984, y'all. Good movie. But yeah, doing an Oops All Movies program today. This is I'm just taking it easy. I mean, the news sucks. Like, let's be honest, like looking at the news every day is depressing. And so I understand that, you know, A lot of people enjoy the depression loop. I don't. I don't enjoy the depression loop at all. And so I'm trying to break it up a little bit. Just trying to have a little fun. Yeah, I don't rate movies on a scale. I think anyone who's a serious movie critic doesn't use a scale. Anyone that uses like a star system or like a number system or whatever, they're unserious. That's my opinion. Cooking with the Bitch, I plan on bringing back to the channel next month, hopefully. That's the goal. I've got a couple things I want to have happen before that, but if anyone wants to go watch Environmental Coffee House's program tomorrow morning, feel free. There you go. Still got some more movies to go into. I got a couple that I'm going to talk about a lot coming up here. So, but yep, just taking it easy recently. There you go. Gonna drink some more coffee. I'm going to the grocery store later today. Does anyone have any grocery store recommendations? Recommendation for the grocery store. Gotta go to the grocer. Hello, Andrea, 66 power. Spinach and carrot. Sounds good. Alright, let's jump in. Oops, all movies. So, watching a lot of movies lately. This is a movie that I did not watch on Shrooms, but I wish I did. And maybe I'll watch it again at some point. I'm not sure. It's an anime movie called Booble. It's called Bubble. And it's like a post-apocalyptic kind of bullshit where like bubbles basically destroyed Tokyo. And I gotta say, the best part of this movie is the artwork and the visuals. I mean, it looks great. I mean, like the whole movie, there's like bubbles everywhere. And like the bubbles have like reflections going on. I mean, that shit's crazy. I wish I watched this movie on Shrooms, but I did not. The plot, there's kind of like two stories that are going on in this film. There's like a secret ass, like, mermaid, like kind of, I don't know what she is, the main character on this poster here. She's like, I guess like some sort of otherworldly creature, and she also lives in the water. And there's like a love story going on with some guy who is a competitor and like some I guess it's like a parkour thing. I don't know. So it's like a post-apocalyptic kind of scenario, right? And so, but there's the bubbles cause like this gravitational issue. So there's like a bunch of pieces of sidewalk like floating in the air. So anyway, like a bunch of people develop a sports game where they like jump all over the floating pieces of sidewalk and like play with flags or whatever. So it turns into like a love story because someone almost dies. And then the mermaid bitch, who's not a mermaid. I mean, she has legs, right? But she like can breathe underwater and she is supernatural. Saves the guy, and then they fall into each other. But then she's like, apparently she's related to like she's like the good part of like an evil soul or whatever that destroyed the world. I thought, again, this movie, I gotta say, the music is excellent. This is a very musical film. I guess the mermaid character is she makes sounds, right? She can't really speak English at first, so she makes sounds and she sings and all that. And then like the protagonist is like, autistic coded, and they're hypersensitive to sound. And but like, he's into the songs that she's making. It's that anime romancy shit that I personally enjoy. I think it's great. And but then also another aspect of this film is that like the government is doing like science experiments, and that's happening, you know. So like the government has scientists there that are like trying to figure out what the booble bitch is. It's good. I mean, this is a fun movie to watch if you like anime movies. I gotta say the visuals again. There's a lot of really good visuals in this movie. Like, because again, like there's a lot of areas in this film where like the bubbles create like, you know, like whirlpools or like other kinds of kind of shapes. And it just looks great. I mean, again, this is a movie you watch in a dark room. It's super bright. It's super colorful. It's, you know, you just get happy when you watch it. It's a happy, fun movie. I don't know how many of y'all are into anime movies or anime in general. But this one I saw on Netflix. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And that's all I really have to say about Bubble. I mean, it's good. It's good. I like Bubble. So go check that out. I might watch that movie again if I'm on mushrooms, because again, just the visual experience of it. The story's good. It's serviceable, but the story is my least favorite aspect of this film. I like the music, the visuals, and just everything about the art was great. Yeah, there you go. Pretty good. I watched your VOD, and I noticed you talk about Bullet Train. I watched that film, and that film was great. Yes, Bullet Train is pretty great. I enjoyed it. Fifth Element, it's kind of like Fifth Element, yeah, Bob Carmody. A little, you know, a little different, but it's very similar on some of the issues. Watch Paprika on Shrooms. I've never seen Paprika, so maybe. But while we're talking about anime, I watched this movie last night. I think. No, did I? Maybe I watched something else last night. I don't know. I watched this at some point. I was doing, you know, a couple inches of the mushroom and watched an anime movie. It's called Akira. I saw this on Hulu, which I also have at the current moment. And this movie's a banger. I've never seen it before. I've seen a lot of clips of it. A lot of people have asked me to watch this movie, have recommended this to me a long time, and I saw it, you know, scrolling through the list. I was on a couple inches of mushrooms, and this is a banger. I gotta tell you, man, this is a banger. Like, now, first of all, again, it's an anime movie, right? So like the big thing here with anime movies is that in a lot of animes, they cut corners. You know, there's a lot of copy and paste. There's a lot of, like, you know, reused animation cycle. You know, for better or for worse. You know, again, anime is like a strict release schedule. But with anime movies, you know, they really just go all out. Like, every frame is a painting. You know, every frame is just beautiful. You could pause the movie at any point and just, like, stare at the screen for hours, right? So this movie, it's called Akira. It's about, like, there's, like, a motorcycle gang or whatever, but then, like, they accidentally intersect with, like, some government, special government program where, like, you know, there's, like, they're called numbers, you know, there's modified people that have, like, psychic abilities they get experimented on, and they just refer to them as, like, number 28, number whatever. And so a motorcycle gang intercepts them on accident. One of them, like, kind of, you know, grants the other one psychic powers. But they're all, like, the way that the psychic powers are explained is that they're all, like, linked to, like, a being of pure evil energy called Akira. And, or something like that. Now, I gotta be honest with you, I was on a lot of drugs when I watched this movie, so I might not be reciting the plot, you know, with accuracy, you know, to the detail. But I enjoyed this movie. Now, I gotta say, the music in this movie, excellent. The music is just like, you know, you're in. And again, of course, the artwork is amazing. Like, the first half of the movie, like, it's a lot of the beautiful artwork is on, like, we're in, like, a post-apocalypse kind of scenario in this movie again, similar to the other one I was just talking about. But it's, like, a post-apocalypse kind of thing. But, like, society still, like, you know, it's post-apocalypse really in the setting, right? Society, there's still a government, right? People are still going to work, you know? but like the government's doing these secret psychic research programs or whatever. But like the first half of the movie, like a lot of the great artwork, there's the one scene with the motorcycle gang intercepting the creatures, I guess, who look like children, but they're wrinkled and they look old, right? So like just like they were children and then they were experimented on to the point where they aged significantly. It's some creepy shit. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, again, I'm watching this movie on shrooms, like that little kid with the old man face, I'm not gonna lie, it fucked me up. I'm just saying, I'm a human, I was looking at that and I was like. So anyway, one of the motorcyclists, gets the psychic abilities, but then goes crazy, essentially. They, betray the gang, the motorcycle gang who's trying to save them. It's a big thing, and then eventually the evil spirit or whatever known as Akira tries to take him over. And, like, the ending of this film, like, and when I say ending, I mean, like, the last 30, 40 minutes, like, it's just great. I mean, there's so much, like, again, you could pause this movie at any point and it's just like stare at the screen for hours and just get loads and loads of information. There's so many good like scenes in this film where like the character, I think their name is Tetsuo, is the one who gets experimented on, the former motorcycle guy who gets experimented on. When he's like learning that he has psychic abilities, it's very shroomy, or like they do like that weird thing where it's like they do like the repeating effect, like with the waves and all that, and it's really good. It was freaking me out. I was like, okay, all right. But yeah, this movie, I mean, again, it's tremendous. This is a visual experience. It's one of those movies that I feel like you can watch it multiple times and just enjoy it as much as you did the first time, because it's very visual. It's very, like, again, it's fun to watch. Now, again, I've only seen it for the first time, so I don't know, but it is just extremely fun to watch. I mean, again, the artwork is tremendous. I love all the scenes where there's explosions in the background and like the fire and smoke and smog is extremely detailed, but then also you got a lot of shit going on in the foreground. Like, again, there's just every frame is a painting, it's just beautiful to look at. And the music is great. The story is good. And the monsters look great. It's just great. I mean, just watch this movie. I don't know what to tell you. Akira, it's fucking good. Check it out. There you go. The movie is equal to the comic book? Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm interested in reading Akira, to be honest. I don't know how much it costs, though. I know it's long as hell. But, yep, definitely check it out. Have I watched Wednesday? No, I don't know what that is. Is that like a sequel to fucking... There was this one movie I saw a couple years ago called like something Monday, where it's like there's a bunch of twins and they're all named day of the weeks or whatever. And I don't know. Is it a sequel to that? Then what happened to Tuesday? Is this the third film? I don't know. But I don't know what Wednesday is. Sequel to Tuesday, prequel to Thursday. That's alright. It's on Netflix. Tim Burton. Okay. What happened to Monday? Yeah, that's the name of the movie. Is it related to that at all, or am I stupid? I don't know. Addams Family remake. I've never seen it. So. Alright, y'all. I got 2 more movies I'm going to talk about today. In this Oops All Movies program. These final 2 movies are shroom movies. I just, just a real quick thing. I like, my opinion is over the last year, I've been getting a lot more into movies. I was not that much of a moviegoer, before last year, but, I've been getting into movies a lot. Another thing, that I, enjoy is, consuming mushrooms and watching films. Now, again, I've said this before, but whenever I watch a movie on mushrooms, I don't intend on having like an ego death experience. I try to measure my dose where it's like I'm experiencing a lot of visual hallucinations, and And like it's just, you know, there's like a little middle ground you can get to where it's like movies and music and just everything in general is just great, but you're not gonna like fall into the pit of despair. You know what I mean? So like you got to be careful. I would always recommend starting small. And a lot of people they ask me like, how do you watch these horror movies on psychedelic drugs? And I tell you again, I'm not doing like 10 grams of mushrooms and watching Jacob's Ladder. Like that's not happening. Okay. You know, I do just enough to get to the point where I'm probably going to have a panic attack, but the panic attack does not last like 15 years. You know what I mean? You know, if you've ever had like a bad psychedelic experience, sometimes you get stuck in the gone zone for what feels like centuries, right? I'm not trying to do that while watching Jacob's Ladder. So I try to do just enough, and that changes, you know, if, you know, tolerance and so forth. Try to do just enough to get that, you know, visual hallucination, auditory hallucination, where art is much more fun. And I love watching movies. And I got a movie here that was extremely enjoyable for me to watch. I got a list of directors that I want to watch all of their films on mushrooms. One of those directors is, of course, Stanley Kubrick. And the other day I watched Eyes Wide Shut, which is Stanley Kubrick's last film. Never seen it before. And so I'm not going to lie to you. This movie... Now, again, I watched this movie on drugs. This movie fucked me up. I'm not like watching this movie. Wow. I mean, I don't even know what to tell you. Like I remember, you know, every once in a while, whenever I do any psychedelic, I always have like a timer on my phone so that I just look at my phone and it's like, oh, I've been in this universe for 20 minutes. Oh, okay. Or, you know, so anyway, I remember like 15 to 20 minutes into this movie, I remember looking at my phone and I was like, oh, okay, we're just getting started. The first scene in this movie is like Tom Cruise is, you know, like a doctor, and Nicole Kidman, I believe her first name is the wife, and they're going to like this big party, this rich person trust fund baby party. And so they're going there, and like the party scene. Now, again, if you've seen shit like The Shining, which is, you know, if anyone has never seen a Kubrick film, I recommend The Shining or 2001. Both of them are great ones. But like you've seen shit like The Shining with those long ass, Kubrick loves like these long ass like hand holding the camera and like bobbing through like environments. In this party scene, like the lights, there's so many lights. There's so many lights in this movie. Now, again, I'm on drugs. I'm watching this movie and I'm hopped up on drugs. And I'm seeing all these bright Christmas lights because this is a Christmas movie. Whenever someone's like, oh, my favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard, you got to say my favorite Christmas movie is Eyes Wide Shut. Why? Is it a Christmas movie? I don't know. If Die Hard's a Christmas movie, so is this. So I was watching this movie and there's so many lights and there's this fucking like these Christmas trees with the fucking bright ass stars all over them. And it's like, it hurt my brain. I had to like look away. I had to squint. I was like, oh God, the lights. And Jesus Christ. Wow. It's just, I mean, again, Kubrick, I don't know what this guy's a genius. I don't know what to tell you. But just like the way that all of the scenes are set up, the backgrounds are amazing. In every movie I've ever seen of his, it's all amazing. It's incredible. The contrast, right, is amazing. Like the lights are so bright, but then like the dialogue is so dark and gloomy, right? And it's just, right? So anyway, Nicole Kidman doesn't want to be there. She gets drunk and starts dancing with some stranger. And I gotta say, Nicole Kidman is not in this movie as much as I thought she would be, you know, going into it. But like the scene where she's like really drunk and talking to this random guy at the party, that scene made me so uncomfortable. Like I'm like now again, I'm on drugs, right? And like Nicole Kidman's like character in this movie, the way she gives a lot of dialogue is like really, it takes her like minutes to get through a sentence. And like Kubrick, you know, like the way that it's filmed is there's no cutting, right? Like Kubrick loves like the long single take shots, right? And so you got these long takes where Nicole Kidman is just like saying one word every 10 seconds, you know, and it's like you have to like, and now again, I'm on drugs, so I can't even remember 5 seconds ago, right? So I'm trying to get through this fucking scene where it's like, how did the sentence start? I don't, what are they talking about? And it was very difficult. So anyway, at this party, Thomas Cruise is called to like help someone who had an overdose, you know, and you know, essentially the wife is upset with that, is confused on where he went. So then they fight the next day, or that evening they fight about it. And Nicole Kidman, they're like smoking weed or whatever, and she like freaks out and says that like she feels like, you know, she doesn't love him anymore or whatever. I don't know. But this sends Tom Cruise on like a fucking like a death spiral mentally, right? So then he starts like prowling the streets of like, I guess it's in New York City, I guess. I'm not sure. He's like walking around just looking for something to do. He's freaked out. His wife is said that she doesn't really love him anymore. He's fucked up. So this is when the movie really starts, right? This is when like, now this is like, I don't know, like 20 minutes into the film, maybe 25 minutes, maybe 30, I don't know. But either way, I am all the way in. My mushrooms have fully committed to them, you know, being in my brain. And so eventually he finds an old friend or whatever, an old friend who's like, oh, I'm doing this gig at this secret club or whatever. Like, I like, you know, something about this. So his old friend who he meets at the party, the one at the start, you know, is like, oh, okay, you should come over to this hotel I'm playing at. So he does, you know, he's just trying to get away from it all. And then he's talking to them, and this guy's like, oh, I got to go do another gig. And it's at this really fucked up weirdo place. And then eventually Tom Cruise gets him to tell him like how to get in there. So, yo. Now again, obviously this is the most important moment of this film is I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know what combination of words I could use to describe the part of this movie, the chunk, if you will, of this film, where Tom Cruise goes to this, party is not a word. I would not use party as a word to describe this, but so he's at a mansion, and it's like a costume party, like that's what he thinks, right? But then he has to go find a mask and a costume, and that's like a whole arc of the film, which is so enjoyable, so hilarious, very fun to watch. And then he gets in there, and it's like some cult, like Resident Evil 4 sex orgy. Now again, party, I would not use the word party. There's little to no partying going on here. Wow. I mean, I'm telling you. Now again, I'm on a lot of drugs watching this movie, right? So I'm at the point where like I can barely even tell that I'm watching a movie while watching this film. And so like I'm seeing like all the naked people are like popping out of my screen, you know, like I don't know what to say. It was really hard to watch. Right, where like, because the way like Tom Cruise is like his character, right? He's just like kind of walking through the whole like mansion, and he's just like walking from room to room, and just like, and the way that the camera is just panning at all like the sex shit. It's artistically it's pretty great, but watching this movie on drugs, I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. It was, and I say that in multiple ways, but it was very difficult. I felt like I had to pause it a lot. It was just so much information to take in, because then you've got like these scenes where like people are fucking each other, and it's like, oh, okay. And then you've got like the masks, right? And then like the masks look weird, and then like some of them look fucked up, and then there's like these weird zoom ins on some of their like fucked up face masks, and it's like, oh Jesus Christ. And then it's like cutting to like the fucking sex orgy circle, and then there's like the weird shit with like the sides or what, I don't know what, it's some Resident Evil 4 stuff. I don't know, man. Okay, so that I don't even know where to go. I don't know how to describe that. There's no description that you could give to in any sense adequately prepare anybody for what that scene has to offer, including the character played by Tom Cruise. So he is basically nearly killed, right? Because they sniff him out that he's like, you know, who's this guy essentially? They sniff him out. Someone like bargains for him to not be killed there. And then Tom Cruise leaves and he spends like the next couple days trying to figure out what the fuck just happened. Right. And then like he doesn't even, he's at the point where he's like, was I dreaming the whole thing? He's like starting to question reality. We get a little unreliable narrator thing going on. And it's just great. I mean, it's wonderful. Like he eventually finds out that someone from the event, I guess we could call it, party is not a word I would use to describe it, but the event ends up dead somehow, and he thinks, oh shit, there's a conspiracy. And then like because he's a doctor, right, the person whom he went to the Christmas party for calls him in and says, I was a member of that event, if you will, and you got to stop looking into it, you got to stop asking questions. And like he basically threatens Tom Cruise, like, if you don't, we're gonna kill you. And then the ending is Tom Cruise and his wife crying just about the whole thing. I mean, I gotta be honest, wow. I mean, this movie, an emotional experience. This is an emotional roller coaster of a film. Now again, I watched this movie on drugs. Would I recommend watching this movie on drugs? I mean, if you're someone like me and if you've watched something like The Shining on mushrooms, you could probably handle Eyes Wide Shut, but it's scary, I'm not gonna lie. Right, and again, like the contrast of like the fucked up mask faces and like just like the hardcore banging going on. Now I'm just curious, like, you know, I know a lot of the time in movies, like, you know, sexual acts aren't actually happening. It's just like, you know, effects of some kind. I'm curious. I don't know, man. Like, how did they film this this event? I don't know. I mean, it looks pretty good to me. But I loved it. Eyes Wide Shut. This is a banger. This is a banger. I mean, watching this movie on mushrooms is hard. It's a difficult, I should say, experience, right? There's just so much happening. Like the scene where Nicole Kidman is basically saying that she doesn't feel like she loves her husband anymore. It's sad. I was crying during that. Like, it's just sad. Right, like the scenes where Tom Cruise is like walking around the streets in New York and you see like the fucking steam coming out. It's all really fucking good. Like, it's just good. The sex cult event is good. The music is great. Like the sound, like, because you hear all the chanting and stuff. It's just, and then the chanting and then the fucking and then like, you know, it's just all really good. One of my favorite parts about this movie is that they say the fuck word a lot. And, you know, Nicole Kidman loves emphasizing fuck. And I appreciate that. I love fuck in general, just as a concept. And so this movie, really good. I don't know, man. Eyes Wide Shut. It's a banger. I don't know what to tell you. As far as I'm concerned, I have not seen all of Stanley Kubrick's movies as of this moment. But Eyes Wide Shut is really good. Is it as good as 2001? No. As good as The Shining? No. As good as A Clockwork Orange? I think so. I think that this movie and A Clockwork Orange are very similar in that, like, they're really hard to watch on drugs and they deal with like emotional roller coasters. But yeah, this movie it's great. I mean, but it's not like, this is a movie, if you turn this movie on and you're not going to pay, you got like, this is a movie, this like, and I say this as, you know, someone that does a lot of drugs and watches a lot of movies. Not every movie is fun to watch or whatever, but this movie, man, this is an experience, right? You watch this shit on drugs, it is an experience. When you get to the other side of it, you're going to be recovering. You're going to feel like you're exhausted. It takes a lot out of you. And again, if you ask me what my favorite Christmas movie is, hey, Eyes Wide Shut. It's better than Die Hard. That's for goddamn sure. Now again, I thought Die Hard is good, but Eyes Wide Shut, hey. Here's that my internet connection has ceased to exist. Is this thing on? Hello? I was yelling at Bob Carmody so hard that YouTube broke my stream. not as good as Clockwork Orange. I think they're both in the same category of like, I would say 2001 is like a cerebral mindfuck. The Shining is also in that category. Clockwork Orange and Eyes Wide Shut are less of that. Like they're not going to leave you scarred for weeks after watching, right? They're just crazy experiences. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like I feel like 2001 and The Shining are on a different plane of existence as far as the Kubrick filmography is concerned. But I mean, you know, so far of every movie of his I've seen, I thought was a masterpiece. But anyway, I got one more movie I want to talk about today for the Oops All Movies program. And this is another mushroom movie, I would say. You know, again, this is a movie. I started watching this movie while I was peaking. I was, you know, it was hard to watch. I was forgetting I was watching a movie for a couple moments here. I've seen this movie before, so I thought, okay, knowing what this movie is about, you know, should be easier to make it through. Shutter Island. I watched Shutter Island. And this is absolutely a great movie to watch if you're doing drugs. Now again, you got to be careful because this movie can fuck you up. This movie is scary. And I say that in like the kind of psychological sense. You know, this movie deals a lot with PTSD. It deals with psychosis. And it deals with tragedy and trauma. And it's just, it's a great movie. So basically it starts off. Now again, the green screen on the boat at the start, the ferry, I gotta say, the green screen is really bad, but I think it's on purpose. This is my opinion, is like the movie starts off, they're on like a boat, and the main character played by DiCaprio is like seasick, but like the green screen of the boat just, it looks so fake, but I think it's on purpose, because I think it sets you up. Because I've already seen this movie before. So the whole movie I'm watching for all like the little giveaways. Like, oh, there we go. Oh, look, there's, right. So, and my takeaway at the boat scene is that it looks fake and bad on purpose to make you feel uneasy. That's my opinion on that. Could be coping. But, you know, it just looks jarringly weird, like the waves of the boat, and then like you can just tell it's a green screen, right? So, but anyway, so a federal marshal is going to investigate this like you know, insane asylum that's on an island in Massachusetts. So we got the Massachusetts accent going on. And there's two of them, right? You got DiCaprio's character and a newly appointed partner for this mission. And so basically they go... I mean, like, I don't know how to review this movie without spoiling it, so I'm just going to tell you, if you don't know the spoiler for Shutter Island... Now, again, I say this all the time. If you let me spoil a movie like this and you don't get... like, because again, this is the thing about a spoiler. It's a cognito hazard, right? It destroys potential experiences, right? So like watching Shutter Island for the first time, I've had that experience. If you let me spoil this movie for you, you will never have that experience. And this is what I'm saying. Like, you can watch my review, right, after you've watched the movie, right? There's no reason for you, oh, but I really liked listening to your show. I don't give a fuck. There is no reason for you to go out of your way to purposefully and permanently get rid of potential human experiences, and watching Shutter Island for the first time is one. Now, I'm going to spoil the fuck out of it, so if that's not an adequate warning for you, I don't know what is. So anyway, the federal marshal played by DiCaprio is actually a patient at the insane asylum. And so... now, this is the second time, actually, I think it's the third time I've watched the movie, but the first time I watched it on mushrooms all the way through. And, you know, again, there's so many scenes where you can tell, right, that the main character is psychotic, but, like, you can't really tell if it's, like, psychotic or PTSD, right? And so, like, it keeps you guessing the whole time. Because, like, the one scene where he hears, like, German music, and then he flashes back to his time in World War II, where he was, like, going through, like, a concentration camp, and, like, one of the officers had, like, the same song on the vinyl record player. And so kind of like the psychosis kind of introduces itself as PTSD. But of course, again, the partner, of course, is actually his doctor the whole time. So you can tell this, and there's a lot of giveaways. There's a lot of giveaways too, because the partner is not good at his job, but DiCaprio's character was an actual federal marshal at one point, right? So it's not like he's completely role-playing in make-believe land, right? Right, so he knows how to handle a gun, for example. He knows how to question people. He knows how to interrogate people. But the partner's just really bad at it, right? And it's like, and DiCaprio is constantly trying to, like, you know, get him to do things. And, like, you know, and it's like, it kind of has, like, a tense kind of relationship there that once you understand that, oh, right, he was just role-playing the whole time, it makes more sense. I mean, this is a banger movie. Again, visually speaking, the most striking scene is the Nazi officer in the pool of blood who tried to kill themselves, but like they shot their face off but survived. And like Leo DiCaprio's in his PTSD nightmare is recalling watching him bleed out and die on the floor, and it's like it zooms in on his fucked up face. That's a crazy scene. We find out that Leo's wife also died at some point. One of the things about this film that's really interesting is that they set up a lot of the stories for the characters. So, like, the federal marshal is here to investigate a missing person, and the details of the missing person are, like, actually describing, like, this character's wife, right? But you don't find that out until later, obviously. And so, but, like, what happens, though, is that he conjures up, apparently the missing person never actually existed. There was no missing person. Or was there? Right? That's the thing with this movie, is, like, It slowly makes the main character, right, think that there's a conspiracy at this facility. And there's reason to believe that there really is a conspiracy at this facility. Now, again, we know mental health treatment in the 1950s and 60s is not good, right? I think this movie takes place in, like, the early 50s, actually. So we know that mental health treatment is not even not good. It just is non-existent. There is no such thing as mental health in the 1950s, right? So, you know, so it's totally possible that, you know, and again, it is factually confirmed that they, at the end, they lobotomize him, and I'll get into the ending. My personal takeaway is that he is not psychotic. The main character is not psychotic at the end. That's my takeaway. I'll get into that shortly. But again, so you can argue that the conspiracy that they're doing Nazi experiments is true. They're lobotomizing people. How is that any different from a Nazi experiment? Let's be honest, right? And one of the lines at the end of this film, or not at the end, but like in the middle, like at the, like when he starts to believe in the conspiracy, is that, like, you know, he's imagining his past where he was at the concentration camp and he sees all the dead bodies and it's just pure horror, and they do a really good job showing that. And then he's like, you know, I didn't fight overseas for the same stuff to happen back home or whatever, in reference to the fact that he's pretty sure that they're doing medical experiments. And they are. I mean, it's the 1950s, right? So they are doing that, right? It is, you know, all mental health treatment at that time period, especially at a theoretical, like, top secret island facility. Yeah, it's going to be horrible. They're going to do horrible things. So anyway, one of the big themes of this film is that there's a storm constantly. There's like a hurricane or some shit. And so there's a lot of areas where the main character will get away from anyone else and then, like, go explore, finds a cave where he meets the missing person. But the authorities at the end imply that there was no missing person. And so did he make up the missing person? Was the missing person real? Who knows, right? And that's the thing about this movie, is not only is it an unreliable narrator movie, but it's an unreliable narrator where it's like, it's not like at the end you go like, oh, he made the whole thing up, because there's a lot of parts that are truthful, right? A lot of parts of the conspiracy that are true, and so it kind of like presents like which parts of the journey were not really happening and just like a symptom of psychosis, right? It's hard to know. Obviously, I want to jump to the ending here to talk about the final line. So basically, the reveal at the end is he finds out that he was fucked up the whole time and that he was experiencing a psychotic episode. They bring him back to reality. He's in reality in a hospital bed, and then like they do like a test, right? Because again, this is like the early 50s or whatever. So they're testing whether or not rehabilitative mental health care is real, right? And so if he fails the test, the main character, if he fails the test, he'll get a lobotomy, which is, you know, in my opinion, it's immoral. And it's not an opinion, it's just a fact. And so, or he is recovered, and it's a use case that, yes, you can get people out of psychotic episodes that had underwent trauma. So basically, in order to explain it, though, the ending is revealed that the main character killed his wife, but the wife killed his kids, right? So they introduce this runaway character or some other character as someone who killed their kids, which is actually the details of his wife. So his wife killed the kids, and then he comes home, finds the dead kids, and then the wife is like begging him to kill her. And so he does, and then that causes him to lose touch with reality, which, I mean, Jesus Christ, right? You come home, your whole family's basically dead. I would lose touch with reality too, right? So at the end of the movie, the partner, who's also the doctor, like goes up to him wearing like the martial gear and says like, you know, what do you think, boss, or whatever. And then like he goes right back into the role play. He goes right back into being the federal agent or federal marshal role play. But you know, and I think, and I'm pretty sure that this is a common theory. I haven't looked it up or anything, but the last words of Leonardo DiCaprio is it better to live as a monster or die as a hero? And so that implies that he knows that he's cured, and he's choosing to get lobotomized anyway because he can't live with the trauma of realizing that he killed his wife and that his whole family is dead, right? But like the way that they do that is just it's excellent. Like they've got like the top brass like across like the big park or whatever, and then they do like a look of visual signals like, nope, he's still in. And but like, so the whole thing is that it's probably rehabilitative healthcare in this universe actually did work. It's just that, you know, the main character was so dissatisfied with the truth that they would rather become lobotomized. One of my favorite scenes in this film is when there's a storm going on, and one of the prisoners basically just explains the whole movie to him. Like, you know, he's in the cell and he's like, this is all for you. They're all doing this game for you. And it's like, it's making it but at the time, the main character is like thinking it's more of the conspiracy. But the conspiracy is true. They are doing everything for him. There is a big role play for him. But, you know, he doesn't quite understand that. But I love watching that on the second watch, because then you get that, like, he's just explaining the whole movie. So it's pretty good. But yeah, Shutter Island is great. I mean, this is a great movie. Again, the ending, I love it. You know, the ambiguity of it. I love movies that don't have a clear ending. I love movies that are ambiguous. Right, so was Leonardo DiCaprio's character healed? Yes or no? I think yes. I think personally, the inclusion of the line that I mentioned is pretty definitive. Why would that be there? Why would that line be there if he wasn't actually cured? Right, but again, you know, it also, the way it deals with trauma and PTSD is that, like, if something that bad happened to you, right, like you've survived going through World War II, you survived like liberating a concentration camp, you survived all this garbage, and then like, you know, this crazy shit that's traumatized you, and then you come home one day and your whole family's like, you know, your wife killed your kids. I mean, that would fuck you up. How could you possibly go through with that and be healed in any way? You know, you might be healed of the psychosis, but you're not going to be healed of the trauma. And so, you know, it's a great movie. I think, especially on shrooms, this movie is really good. There's lots of like the, you know, like it's kind of like got like this Jacob's Ladder, Silent Hill thing where it's like the PTSD episodes kind of bleed into the real life kind of thing. And it's like really good stuff, really awesome visuals. And this movie is great. So Shutter Island, check it out. It's a banger. I don't know what else to say. But that was the Oops All Movies show. Hopefully y'all appreciated it. I haven't been doing a lot of movie reviews lately. So I guess I ended up saving them. Once again, I'm not going to be doing a show tomorrow. I started today's show at 10:30 because I wanted to see how that would affect people showing up. I'm not sure. But then also, I know I'm doing a movie show, so less people are going to click on it. Because I got a bunch of, there's a part of my audience that are uncultured Neanderthals that, they enjoy watching my politics content, but don't enjoy watching my movie content. Uncultured Neanderthals. That's a portion of my audience. So, fuck them. Fuck them. You don't want to watch Oops All Movies? Go fuck yourself. Okay, motherfucker? That's my opinion on those people. No offense intended. What other movies do you think you'll watch the rest of the year? I don't know. I got a mental list and I just kind of go haphazardly. It's hard to say. But yeah, I mean, my opinion is I think art is the most valuable part of the human experience. Anyone who doesn't acknowledge that is, I feel sorry for you, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. Movies, there's a lot of good movies out there. There's a lot of bad movies. They're fun. They're enjoyable. But I also think art can change people in fundamental ways, I watch a movie, on a lot of drugs. It can send me down a certain thought spiral where I completely change my opinion on something. Or, it helps me get through, my own personal therapeutic issues. Have I seen Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket? I have not seen that one yet. But I'm assuming it's good, and I'm going to watch it on shrooms, of course. Retro Boomer, I missed you too, bud. Even though I can't see your profile picture, of course, still. $9.99, Fun P. Is the Silent Hill movie a good watch? Great movie review, thanks. I did a review of that this October, the one that just happened. So if you want to see a more in-depth review, check that out. But yeah, the first Silent Hill movie is good. The second one, the first one is good. Is it great? No. Is it wonderful? No. But it's good. If you like the Silent Hill games, you will enjoy the first Silent Hill movie. The second movie is a little harder to enjoy, I will say. Silent Hill Revelations or whatever. That one is pretty difficult to actually enjoy. But the first Silent Hill is really good. Is it great? No. Is it like Jacob's Ladder? Jacob's Ladder, in my opinion, is the real Silent Hill movie. Jacob's Ladder is perfect film, S tier, 10 out of 10, whatever rating you want to use. 5 stars, 10 stars, 25 stars, 15 cupcakes, 28 cupcakes, 13 dozen donuts, 15 dozen donuts. Whatever that is, watch Jacob's Ladder. But, all of that considered, the first Silent Hill movie, it's good. I know that there's a 2019 Jacob's Ladder remake. I'm saving that one, okay? I know. I read enough about it to know it's probably... I mean, there's no way you can make it as good as the first one, right? So that's already, But I've read enough about it to know it's going to be bad. So I'm excited to watch that. But I'm saving that one. So there's a new Jacob's Ladder. You checked out The Viewing? Oh, The Viewing is tremendous. The Viewing is tremendous. I can't recommend it enough. I do enjoy Silent Hill. I've got the games within arm's reach. I just have them on my desk. I use PS1 games and DVDs and movies and stuff for my camera stand. So I happen to have a lot on my desk. You watch Twitch and YouTube for almost 16 hours a day? Real, Anna, what the fuck? I will say this also. It might be today, definitely won't be tomorrow, but I plan on doing a Twitch stream maybe today. I don't know. Definitely not tomorrow, maybe Thursday. No Above It All tomorrow, no Above It All Thursday. Tomorrow, don't contact me. I mean, you can if you want, but I'm not going to really be on the internet tomorrow. So... just throwing that out there. But I might do a Twitch stream today. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's it. That's the show. So thank you all for watching. Nathan Brown, Molotov, $5 super chat. Keep it up. Thank you. $5. Andrew Kohler. Here's a super chat for saying art is the most important thing. The rest of my day is going to be spent editing a critical edition of a musical score. Well, there you go. Yeah, I appreciate it, y'all. I know my schedule has been haphazard lately. I'll get back to a more regular routine in January. December is not my favorite month, and I'm balancing multiple different things, multiple projects. I'm doing a bunch of side projects. I want to finish. I had a side project that I was wanting to finish by the end of the year. It's not going to happen anymore. I procrastinated it, but that's fine. It's okay. But I want to make significant progress on that. But anyway, so again, thanks for dealing with my haphazard schedule. I will say this, though. I will be streaming on Christmas. I will be playing through The Grinch on PS1. That is my annual celebration of Christmas. The Grinch on PS1 is a video game where you play as the Grinch and you kill Santa Claus and you destroy Christmas presents. You destroy them all. You egg people's houses. I love it. I hate Christmas. I think Christmas is garbage. I think holidays are garbage in general. So every Christmas, I play The Grinch. I'll be playing it on Twitch this year, as I have that as an option. So I will be streaming on Christmas. I will do an Above It All, and I will play The Grinch. So don't worry about that. But as far as that, that's the only day I can guarantee I will be streaming. But reminder to also download my Doom WOD that is called A War on Christmas. It's a great WOD. It's gotten a lot more attention than I thought it would. And a lot of people have said that it's really good. I appreciate that. And I know not everyone that watches this show is into Doom, but my goal is that if I can get you to, even if the only Doom you've ever played is my WOD, that would be great. If you've never played Doom, buy it off of a Steam sale, whatever. Play my levels, that would be great. Max the dog is in it, so rare Max photos are exclusive to the A War on Christmas WOD. But that's all I got, so thank you all for watching. Have a great one, and I hope you enjoyed Oops All Movies.
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, "This is genius." I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, "This is genius." I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, "This is genius." I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, "This is genius." I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, "This is genius." I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and yesterday and there was a television screen, today and there was a television screen, today and there was a television screen, 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 and I said, "This is genius. This is genius." And I said, "This is genius." And I said, "This is genius." Screen, television screen, and I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, "This is genius."
But it's a class action lawsuit against all machines.